Physical activity is any activity that requires you to move a certain amount or use a certain amount of effort. For example, playing sports is a physical activity. However, sleeping or like writing is not. The recommendation for an adult from the NHS is to get 2.5 hours of moderate activity a week, or 1 hour of intense activity. But that's for a typical adult. There are many reasons as to why physical activity is performed. The first is because it's something to do socially. It's socially something to do, especially if you play a team sport. This is because it allows for people to go out and meet people regularly and do something they enjoy. In the short term, it allows for people to go out and socialise, which is needed for everyone. So performing activities are a pathway to doing so. And in the long term, these activities can form friendships that last however long. And again, it's positive for everyone involved as it allows for more outlets to talk to people as things happen over time. It is also done for mental reasons as well. Short term, this is due to the physical activity being scientifically proven to release endorphins in your brain which make you feel good about yourself. So people perform exercise so they can feel good. In the long term, performing physical activity develops muscles in the body depending on how hard you perform the activity. This can allow for people to create what they deem as a better body image for themselves, whether that be losing weight or gaining muscle. It can help a lot with their physical appearance, and this can boost someone's mental health and by removing things like being self-conscious. Also, physically, it keeps your body running smoother, as it allows for you to have a lower heart rate, for example, which puts less strain on your heart and the cardiac muscles. It allows for your muscles to become healthier as well, and this means you can keep performing longer without getting tired. There are many influences to get people into physical activity. The first being just society in general. This is because in the society we live in, it's widely accepted and encouraged to go out and perform an activity every now and then. This is due to one, the health reasons and health and well-being reasons as well. Uh, Another influence is adverts, as they're advertised. It's advertised. The idea is advertised of being active. This goes with advertising for like healthy foods, products, and also healthcare. It's constantly advertised on sports like television programs, as well as the in-between play like halftime. Having one advert is usually having one advert about getting active. The final influence to get active is the socio-economic factor. This is because getting physical activity is as cheap as you like. It can be done as exercises in your front room or going out and getting all the top end gear to perform the sport. This means there is no real excuse as to not be getting exercise. However, the issue lays with can people afford the exercise that they like? Uh, this is a difficult part, as if someone doesn't enjoy, say, going out running, as that's probably one of the cheapest activities to perform. Why would they then say, "Oh, but I need to do exercise, so I'll go out and do it"? Nutrition looks at how much you eat and the effects it has on you. The NHS recommends that a healthy adult should take on less than 70 grams of fat, less than 20 grams of saturates, at least 260 grams of carbs, 90 grams of sugar, and 50 grams of proteins, and less than 6 grams of salt a day. This is between 2,000 to 2,500 calories for the average adult. A male should be eating 2,500 calories a day, and a female should be getting 1,940. A healthy diet should contain a wide variety of foods and include a person's 5 a day with fruit and vegetables. And finally, a daily intake should have less than 5% sugar. A standard healthy diet is usually made up from 15% protein, 30% fats, and 55% carbohydrates. There are also guides to help people with their dieting, as well as things like the Eat Well plate, which shows a pie chart display of how much uh, each food each food group you have in your diet, with the majority being taken up by fruits, vegetables, and carbohydrates. Nutrients in foods are categorized according to the relative amount required by your body. Carbohydrate, protein, and fat are termed as macronutrients, as they are required in relatively large amounts on a daily basis. These nutrients are also the energy providing nutrients of your diet. Carbohydrates are divided into two basic types and generally known as either simple or complex carbohydrates. Simple carbs are essentially sugars, and they are formed of single and double sugar units and are easily digested and absorbed to provide a quick source of energy. Uh, and complex carbohydrates are like things like brown bread and pasta. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. They are required. They are required by the body, but in smaller amounts than macronutrients. And despite your relatively small requirements for these nutrients, they play a huge role in regulating reactions in the body. If you have a poor diet, there are negative effects to the health in the body. From this would potentially lead to obesity and becoming overweight, with this potentially leading to risks of developing disorders and conditions, from heart diseases and strokes to cancer, high blood pressure, and many more, with some being life-threatening. Blood pressure, also known as hypertension, is thought to be a silent killer as it remains undetected in most cases, so isn't treated, and is found once the damage has been done. This will come from eating too much junk food, fried food, salt, sugar, and dairy products. Caffeine and refined food, consumed, if they are consumed too much in an excessive amount. Hypertension can also restrict you from certain things, like holding weights out in front of you, and diabetes can also be linked to poor nutrition and can result from consuming sugar and fat-laden diet, leading to weight gain. Strokes come from the plaque that builds up in blood vessels, then breaks free as a clot that travels to your brain, creating a blockage from the poor nutrition. And where these strokes damage the brain and impair functioning, sometimes leading to death. With gout, uric acid uh, builds up. Build up. With gout, uric acid build-up results in formations of crystals in your joints. The pain swelling associated with gout can lead to permanent joint damage, and a diet that is high in fat or cholesterol can cause gout. Several types of cancer can be caused by poor nutrition, including bladder, colon, and breast cancers. Uh, and they may be particularly caused by poor dietary habits. That will come from your high intake of foods that contain refined sugars, nitrates, and hydrogenated oils. The statistical evidence found for nutrition was that only 29% of adults in the UK consume their five a day, and it's estimated that over 4 million people are living with diabetes in the UK.